Welcome back. And it's time for Data Point before we get to the conversation with the News Gang team, which is already here. Let's begin by looking at the Nyota project, which was launched by the government at some time this week. Nyota stands for National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement, and it's a 5-year initiative. Of course, the commitments were arrived at in June 2023. It is an initiative between the government of Kenya and the World Bank. Of course, the World Bank doing the financing. It is targeting up to 820,000 youth. And of course, the other thing to look at is the ages that qualify. You have to be between 18 and 29, but the persons with disabilities are allowed to go up to 35 years of age. When it comes to matters of education, the maximum level of education should be Form 4, meaning any young person who is who has studied up to Form 4 and below, you qualify for this. And the status for this, for you to qualify, you have to be either unemployed, underemployed, or employed while earning a low income, or rather you engage in a low income job. The other thing to look at is the targets of Nyota. According to the website of Nyota, they are saying that for training they are targeting up to 90,000 youth. For certification for recognition of prior learning, they are talking about 20,000 youth. Of business training, 110,000 youth. And then for those that will be involved in savings through the NSSF Haba na Haba initiative will be 190,000. And there is a huge number of 600,000 youth that are targeted for digital skilling for them to be in a position to access the government procurement opportunities. So upon training, we don't know how that will be processed to ensure that they get those tenders or procurement opportunities. Now, at the same time, the process of Nyota projects, first you have to submit an application. The application will be reviewed for eligibility, of course, looking at the ages, the level of education, whether you are underemployed, unemployed, or involved in a low-income job. And then after that, the selection will be randomized. That's what the Nyota team is saying. The other thing is that there will be an entrepreneurship aptitude test conducted on those persons that are shortlisted for that. Thereafter, there will be an assessment of the mindset. Do you have an entrepreneurship mindset? Are you ready for business? And then after that, there will be assessed for intervention needed, so that you'll be told, do you require training? Do you require some money for you to start a business? So before any money has been awarded to any beneficiary, there has to be a 4-day business service training, and it has to be assessed to make sure that it has met all the qualifications or the requirements. And thereafter, you can be given a startup capital of 50,000 shillings to the startup business or expand your own business. And this money will come in 2 tranches of 25,000 each. The other thing that will be considered is that the persons that are targeted for that startup capital are 70 in every ward. In the country, we have 1,450 wards, so that gives you a total of 101,500 youth. The capital available for this is up to 50,000 shillings per person, so that gives you a total of 5 billion shillings. And this is what the PSAs have been talking about across the 47 counties. But now, there's something you need to know, because this entire program is bigger than 5 billion shillings. It is up to 29 billion shillings, which I want us now to break down. So this funding is coming from the International Development Association, which is an arm within the World Bank group. There is a loan, shorter maturity loan, that is amounting to $100 million US. That converts to 13 billion shillings if you have to use the rate of 130 shillings to the dollar. Then there is IDA credit. So those two are different, because a shorter maturity loan may be a couple of years. The IDA credit, it refers to the interest that will be charged on this loan. It is up to 100 million shillings, converting to 13 billion shillings. So that's a total of 26 billion shillings, which is a loan from the World Bank to the Kenyan government. The other one is IDA grant. This is money that will be given to the young people. It's up to $20 million, converting to 2.6 billion shillings. This one you don't have to refund. For Global Financing Facility, it is up to $9 million, which converts to 1.17 billion shillings. And of course, in total, you get to the 29.7 billion shillings, which will be used to roll out this program. But now, Kenya is not the only country that is benefiting from the World Bank Group. And this is important to distinguish between whether it's a Kenyan initiative or it is also from the World Bank. Now, there are countries like Namibia, which has a $28 million US initiative, which was unveiled in September of 2025. Rwanda has a $200 million US initiative, which was unveiled in September 2024, which is last year. Ethiopia, 200 million shillings since September 2023. But of course, the release of this money has been at different stages. Burundi is talking about $80 million since 2021. So that gives an indication that indeed, even as the government continues to talk about this being a Kenyan initiative, obviously it's important to know that the World Bank is really heavy